everyone, and welcome back to the Really Bookish podcast. Today we are continuing on with Shocker, Jane Eyre, and I am joined once again by Alex.
Also a shocker. Wow.
Oh, wow. Day full of surprises.
It is full of surprises.
This might be our last episode of Jane Eyre.
It could be.
It could be. Firm, maybe.
Yeah, the biggest maybe I've ever seen all year.
Mm-hmm. TBD, I guess.
Right. Jane Eyre. End? Question mark?
Honestly, how this book probably should have ended.
Honestly, this is for future Alex and Rachel to worry about. So
Whatever. We fix it in post.
yeah, right.
So we are on to chapter 37. So it turns out Rochester's been staying in a manor house in the middle of the nowhere, which is my nightmare.
Listen, when you are the gentry, you've got manor houses all over the place. You know, you're just this is my forest retreat for when my house burned down and my ex-wife tried to kill me. Actually, sorry, not ex-wife, still wife. When my wife tried to kill me by burning our home down, this is where I go to convalesce.
You know, the wife I kidnapped and just kept locked in a closet.
My attic wife.
Whatever. Yeah. My first attic wife.
Doesn't everybody have a first attic wife?
You know, it's just me and the boys right here. We can all talk about our attic wives.
Why, we could just be like, oh, who's your Grace Pool? Who you got keeping your attic wife company?
Your attic wife doesn't have a companion, man. You know, that's a good savings plan. Maybe I just don't put my attic
just let her up there. Yeah. Why am I wasting all this money?
Yeah, we ball.
Fuck it. We ball on the attic wife. All right.
Oh, yeah. So, Jane is just creeping around in a scary dark wood to just get to this place. She describes it as everything's grown over. It's pitch black out. She can't see. She's basically feeling her way through the woods.
The number of times that Jane Eyre has just sort of stumbled on shit in this book is at least two. Because we have a similar moment where she's just wandering the moors and sees that light and is like, the Rivers estate. And here we are again. Jane's just like, I don't know where I am. I'm just in the woods. She's an elf.
Don't we all just traipse through the woods and then find our long lost relatives and then become rich millionaires? Is that not what we all do?
All right, that's a common experience.
We've all had it, you know. One day you're orphaned and starving, and then suddenly, you know, like every father, apparently, I climbed uphill both ways. It was snowing, sleeting, worked from the ground up. Now I'm a millionaire. Bootstraps. Pull them.
Yep. I don't want to criticize Charlotte Bronte because, as I've said on this podcast many times, I love this book. But listen, there are some repetitive plot devices that are happening.
Oh,
and this one is a little tired.
Yep, just a little bit. So, Rochester shows up as she's walking. And I'm like, of course he does. Dramatic.
Classic Rochester move.
He walks outside. Jane hides in the trees, which actually works this time because he is blind.
Because he has been blinded. That's right. She didn't need to hide at all. She could just stand there.
Yep.
Life has not been kind to Mr. Rochester in the last few months since she left him.
Yeah. He's wildly hype. Oh, just kidding. I skipped ahead in my notes. Apparently, I just forgot to write some things down.
Okay.
I do remember what happened. However, I did not write them. So
got it. Okay.
Turns out she's sneaks up to him, brings him a bowl of soup or something, instead of being the maid, instead of the, I guess, his maid or whatever.
I think so. Yes.
So she pretends to be, I can't remember the servant's name, but She like brings him a bowl of soup, and he's like, "Who is it?" And Jane says nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And he's like, "Tell me who you are." Which, like, are we really bullying a blind man right now?
We are. We are indeed. And I mean, don't think of it as bullying a blind man. Think of it as bullying Mr. Rochester, who absolutely deserves it.
Fair, fair. But I'm like, stoop to a new low, Jane. And then he like touches her hands, and he's like, "These are the hands of Jane Eyre."
Yes. it's,
And
it's romantic question mark.
question mark, truly. He's
Like,
like, "Let
what
me
if
hear
it
your
wasn't
voice."
Jane?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you okay? Pause.
Awesome.
Do you think that he does this every time soup has been brought to him? Like every time the servant brings soup, he's like, "Who is this?" These are Jane's hands. And the servant's finally just like, "No, it's me, you asshole."
Like, I think the servant had to start announcing themselves. Like, whenever they walk in, be like, "Not Jane Eyre."
Right. It is I, not Jane Eyre.
It's like he doesn't want to learn their names. He doesn't care. But he's
Who
just like,
obviously doesn't care. Mm-mm.
"Jane or not."
It is I, not Jane.
So then he's like, "Wait, Jane?" And he's like, she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Speak to me." And she's like, "I'm actively talking."
Yes, I am saying words.
And he's like, I can't even believe it's you. How do I know this is real?" And I was ready for her to like pinch him or something for the vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, I don't know. And he like touches her face. And he's like, "Oh girl, hey."
It is you. I know that face, which I've never touched anywhere.
I was literally thinking that. I'm like, he's literally never touched her face before, but suddenly he's like memorized it.
I mean, I do think they were macking, so I think he has
What?
touched her face. I don't know that
Oh,
he has
yeah.
done the like, "I now know your face"
Yeah.
feel. I don't know. Maybe he has, and I'm just,
It's part
I'm
of the
just now,
director's cut.
yeah, I'm just now picturing them sitting together and Rochester just like putting his hand on her face and being like,
Hmm.
"I want to remember you." It's just Jane, just like, "I don't know what to do with this."
Yeah.
Okay,
Jane's just like, "So this is what having a boyfriend's like."
right? Is this why most people don't like having boyfriends? Because I don't.
Hmm.
This is weird.
She's like, "How long does this last?" Like,
Jane writing to her girlfriends, "Hey, so have you gotten to the hand on the face memorization phase of your relationship?"
"Oh, you guys skipped right over that? Oh,
Interesting.
okay. So it's not a necessity." That's what I'm learning here.
Because he says it is. It's
Hmm.
weird.
I don't know. I don't know. Should I dump him?
Nah.
Nah.
Not unless he's
I
got a
know.
wife in the attic.
Okay, girl. So I just found out he had a wife in the attic. Like, should I leave him? Or do you think that's kind of hot?
No, instant red flag, Jane. Instant red flag. Wife in the attic is an instant red flag.
Jane said, "These red flags are getting real pink. Real pink."
Extreme, okay?
So Rochester, super hype. He's like, "It's my girl, my
Yeah.
lady."
He's real
And Jane's,
excited.
oh yeah. And then Jane's like, "You know what?" Jane's like, "You know what we should do? Just for funsies. What if I just like messed with him a little bit? What if I just roasted him?" And so she's like, "Oh yeah." And then we could become neighbors. And he's like, "Neighbors?"
Yes.
And then she's like, "We just like hang out all the time." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll hang out all the time because you'll be living with me."
Nah.
Jane's like, "Nah." Hmm. So then she just like starts like kind of like, wow, I just said like a lot of times. It's fine. She starts like fixing up his room a little bit so that it's more homey and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, this is pretty nice. This is."
I'm just picturing him living in squalor. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think his maid takes very good care of him beyond the soup. And so, this room is just like an absolute disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are birds' nests in here. There are any number of things that Jane, I feel like there was a missed opportunity here. But, it's fine.
I imagine like this place is like an absolute dump, and then she puts like one vase on the table with like flowers in it, and she's like, there.
Everything is fixed.
And I solved it. Problems gone. So he's already like way more hype, and but he keeps like not believing she's there, and she's like, I legitimately don't know how to prove this to you anyway, other way. And he's like, I could be descending into madness.
I mean, listen, after the trauma that he experienced, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to say that surviving a fire is not a traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Having your girlfriend get mad at you and leave you at the altar, or leave you because you had a secret attic wife, is not the trauma that Rochester is making it out to be. But the fire is.
Yeah,
And
for
so
sure.
I completely understand you know, the disbelief, because he thought she was gone, and then his wife tried to murder him, and his house burned down, and all this shit happened
Mm-hmm.
to him. So, like, yeah, he's had a bad few months. I'll give him that. I think that could make anyone question reality a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So Rochester's like, so do you think I'm like handsome and stuff? And she's like,
Just
no, I
like
think you're the
again,
ugliest person I've ever seen.
and you know what? Good on her, because what is this question, Mr. Rochester? I mean, I
I don't
guess he
know.
probably hasn't seen himself in a while, so he doesn't know the extent of the damage. Maybe
Mm.
that's.
Makes me
I guess
laugh.
that's fair.
He's like, so do you think this like made me uglier? And she goes, it's hard to get down where you
Yeah,
were.
she's like, when you're at the rock bottom, buddy, there is nowhere else to go. So you're
Yeah.
fine.
She's like, you were already pretty rough, and now you're just, worse. So, um, he's trying to figure out where she's been, and she's like, I'll tell you tomorrow. LOL. Runs away. And she
Listen.
goes, oh, and then he's like, you've only been around ladies though, right? And Jane's like,
T. Bye bye.
and then she notedly laughs and runs away. I did not
Mm-hmm.
add that part in. She
Nope.
laughs,
She
runs.
laughs.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate, after all of the shit this man gave her throughout her time at Thornfield, like,
Mm-hmm.
this is a, a lovely catharsis moment for me where I'm like, yeah, fuck him up.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. He deserves it.
Slay.
And you know what? We also know he's kind of into it. So we're killing two birds with one stone. If she's actually still interested in him, this is how you get him back, in a
Oh yeah.
way. So, like,
Oh yeah.
it's a beautiful moment for my weirdos, which that's what these two are. Truly, they are weirdos. I love them, but they are weirdos.
Absolutely. So the next day comes through, and she's like, okay, so you want to know what I've been up to? And he goes, ah, yeah. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, please, let's talk about that.
Mm-hmm. I love that she kind of skips over the starving and dying almost by like being like, yeah, well, I was hungry, very hungry, and then I stumbled upon the porches of, other peasants and stuff. And he's like, what? And she's like,
Huh?
anyways, moving on.
Yes. I don't. I'm sure she's trying to spare him. I don't fucking know. Or we're building up. We're building up to something. We're building up
Mm-hmm.
to the. I don't know. I think there. I feel like there's some sort of like, even though she's teasing and being really cruel, she obviously still is trying to spare him something. I think
Mm-hmm.
she recognizes that what she went through is in fact quite traumatic, and so she's reliving it for herself, and
Mm-hmm.
doing that thing where you're like, yeah, that really shitty thing that happened to me wasn't actually that bad. I made it through, so it's just, it can't have been that bad because I made it through. And then she's also talking to this man who literally almost burned to death. And it's like, yeah, that was rough. So, like, comparatively speaking, me being hungry for a night, we can move on. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah. You're better on somebody that's like you're talking about your traumas and you guys start comparing and you're like, ooh, what?
Yes. Yes, I am familiar with that moment of just,
Mm-hmm.
oh dear.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah, moving on.
Right. Yeah, that's a thing
Mm-hmm.
you should address with your therapist. Okay.
All right. So Rochester's like, and backtracking, you said you came across your cousins? And Jane's like, yeah.
Mhm.
And he's like, and what genders were they?
Right. He's listen. The man is a jelly, and
Mhm.
does he have any right to be a jelly? Absolutely not. But he is because that's who he is as a person.
So then he's like, okay, so your cousins, backtracking to your cousins. She goes, yeah, what about him? And he's like, so you have two girl cousins. And she's like, yeah.
Yes.
And he's like, and a boy cousin? And she's
Err.
like, yeah. Anyways, moving back to the school. And he goes, no, 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 go
Mm-mm.
back. And she goes, well, he came to the school with me. He goes, he what?
Yeah, sir did what?
Hims did Hunst? What's? Whomst? And then she's like, well, he then visited me every day. And Rochester's like, I'm sorry, what? And Jane's like, I don't know. He just, wanted to see me. And Jane's like, Rochester's like, I've been around you long enough. I don't think anybody just wants to see you, but okay.
Yes. We're getting back to our old banter, and I love it.
I know. It's, took long enough, honestly.
Hmm.
But we're back, baby. And then Jane's like, I don't think that's the case, but okay. And he's like, nope, it is. It
It's
is.
totally the case.
No one ever wants to be around you that long unless they're dating you. Take Mrs. Fairfax for example. She didn't want to be around you.
Not at all.
I, however,
Me, right? Me do. Me
me
do.
do. And Jane's like, I don't know. I didn't think he liked being around me that much. And he goes, another sign.
Yes. This is like the constant negging is in fact
Mm-hmm.
how I show my affection.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, so what'd you do with your time? She goes, well, I was learning German. And then I had to start learning Hindu. Hindu?
Hindi.
No, Hindi. Thank you. Um, Hindu's religion, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And then he goes, backtrack. Why'd you start learning Hindi? And she's like, oh, St. John wanted me to learn it. And he's like,
But
why?
why?
And she goes, oh, he just thought it would come in handy. And she's like, for what?
The caginess of this conversation
So
slays
good.
me. It's just like,
So good.
we're gonna talk at each other real hard.
Mm-hmm. And she goes, well, it might have something to do with the fact that he wanted me to come to, India with him. And Rochester loses it.
Just uh, this man.
He's so easy. It's so easy. So Jane's like, he's like, India, so you're in love with him? And Jane's like, love is a strong word.
Jane is like, love is not the four-letter word I would use for the way I feel about Sinjin.
And then like he does this whole moment where he's like, so you should just like go back and be with your husband. And Jane's like, I have a husband?
He's so petty. She is so petty. They are perfect for
So
each
good.
other.
It's so good. Like, this is the kind of relationship that I want to watch on TV, but I would never want to experience.
Oh, absolutely. No, like that couple who just are constantly needling each other
Mm-hmm.
are impossible to be around, but
Mm-hmm.
hilarious to observe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've known people like this where it's just like when you two are in a room together, I cannot physically stand to be here. but if I can watch it from a distance, it is highly entertaining. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
can hear about your nonsense every day, all
Mm-hmm.
day, just lay it on me. But the second I have to be a part of it, vomit. No, thank you.
Literally. You're like, you know what? I'll just be over here. You guys be over there.
Right.
Perfect.
This is the
Ideal.
relationship we need. Yes. So watching these two, reading about these two, yeah, no, it's high entertainment. And honestly, I'm surprised there hasn't been an extended Netflix series about Jane Eyre yet.
I'm surprised there hasn't been a modern version yet, you know?
I mean, I certainly feel like you could Bridgerton this real well.
Oh, yeah.
But I do love a modern retelling.
I do too.
10 Things I Hate About You. Great.
Clueless.
Fucking great. Clueless. Amazing. If you did
Mm-hmm.
something like that along these lines, I think you got an instant classic.
Oh, yeah. I'd watch it. For
Just
sure.
just need to find the ugliest man you can and make him Rochester. And you've nailed it. You've already got the formula.
Or, again, I'm still very cool with a exceptionally hot man being like, and I'm so ugly, and Jane just being like, yeah.
I would also be here for that. If I mean, I'm trying to think of the people that we've seen cast as Rochester and the people we've talked about being cast as Rochester, but just like I would love to see a Hugh Grant being like, "I'm so ugly," and someone being like, "Yep, you certainly
Channing
are."
Tatum, circa Magic Mike.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So ugly. Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
No one is ever going to appreciate you.
So
I
funny.
literally would rather rip my eyes out than look at your face. Okay. Do you know who Dave Batista is?
Yes.
Okay. So you know that Batista wants to be in a romantic comedy?
Say less.
Okay. So Batista wants to be in a romantic
Mhm.
comedy, but doesn't feel that he is romantic rom com material because he feels he's ugly. And I'm like, put Batista in a rom com. I would watch it every day.
Oh yeah.
I might cast Batista as Rochester in this very moment because, like, listen, Batista's not an unattractive man, so like,
No.
put him in there.
Like very much he's just an average dude, which I feel like is perfect for a rom com.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I kind of hate when they're just like in a rom com, they find like a huge actor, like Brad Pitt level, like known to be hot. Like if you put Hugh Jackman in, you know, like I'd rather than find a smaller actor. Dave Bautista's not a smaller actor by any means.
No,
However,
physically or otherwise.
correct. But like someone that you would not immediately be like, oh, that's the male love interest.
And this is why I think Jack Black should be in most rom coms.
Ugh, love Jack Black.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what did we not talk about casting Jack Black as Rochester?
I think I did. Or we talked about what was it? We just discussed a movie that was coming out. Oh, was it Percy Jackson? No.
Yeah,
Was
maybe.
it? I don't remember. Something's coming out and people are like, "Don't put Jack Black in it." And I'm like, "Controversial opinion. Put him in everything."
I'm with you on this controversial opinion. Put Jack Black in everything. Love that man.
My favorite thing is someone asked him and he's like, "What's your favorite Christmas movie?" And he was like, "Elf." And they were like, "You were literally in a Christmas movie." And he's like, "What?"
You know what? That is highly relatable. I don't remember half the shit I've done, and I've done
Yeah.
nothing.
Same. I don't remember what I did like 3 days ago, and people are like, "Do you remember it?" Nope.
Absolutely not.
There's a lot going on up here, and none of it needs to remember what I did 3 days ago.
Correct.
So then, finally, basically, Jane's like, I'm just messing with you. I'm still into you. And he's like, oh, Slay, want to get married?
Yes, his immediate response. Hey, my wife's dead, so everything's good, so we can just like carry on like that never happened, right?
He's like, what better time than the right now?
Like the immediate right
Mm-hmm.
meow. Let's do it. as a planner, this drives me crazy.
Fair.
Just like now, right now, no, no. There's so much that needs to be done. Um, we need to not live in a shambling forest home to
Mm-hmm.
start. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like let's start there and find something that actually has a roof on it.
Rochester's like, we could just live in the ruins. You liked it there, right?
You liked Thornfield. Jen's like, it's literally burned to the ground, and he's like, it's fine. You know,
I just like that Roger's like, well, you have money now, so.
right? It's just like we can do whatever you want. You've got money. Yep. Jen's like, okay.
Okay.
This isn't how I anticipated spending my money, but all right.
Jane's like, I have a 2-bedroom home. And Rochester's like, oh,
Mm. Yeah, we're gonna need to
I
manner that up.
he's like, I need at least, and I say this with the most humbleness that I can, at least 40 rooms.
Right, because like, where am I gonna go when I get sick of you?
I just like him being like, what about the dogs?
Exactly. Pilot needs a bedroom at least, so we've got two bedrooms filled, and I am not comfortable at 100% capacity. You know.
Yeah. He's like, and what if we want to get a second? What if you want to get a dog? And Jane's like, I don't need to get a dog. And he's like, your dog needs at least a bedroom.
Yeah, right. The dog you don't have requires a bedroom and a full kitchenette. Just so you
He's like, what
know.
if we're going to have kids? They need 4 each.
Right. Some place to put their toys, some place to put their books, some place to put their servants, and some place to put themselves.
Mm-hmm. And you know they cannot sleep and nap in the same room.
Absolutely not. They'd
Those are
catch
for
something.
pores.
Yeah. How do you think pores get poor? It's because they
Yeah.
sleep and nap in the same room.
They catch the poverty.
Right. It just swirls around bedrooms and nap rooms, which are the same.
You have to confuse them by switching up where you sleep.
That's right. If the poverty doesn't know where you're sleeping, it can't catch you.
And I think Rochester's saying that while turning over in his blanket fort that he's created on his sofa.
Yes. He's living a very hermit life. Bless
Mm-hmm.
him.
So he's like, all right, so we're going to get married in 3 days. And Jane's like, okay, cool, 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 cool. No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
Um, and then he reveals basically that they magically hurt each other. And Jane's
Yeah.
like, I'm never going to tell him. And that's my favorite bit. Jane's just like, wow, this really cool supernatural thing happened, and I'm never going to say a thing.
Yep. He's like, I called out to you. And she heard it. She heard it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a supernatural, divine intervention into their relationship. And she's like, this is for me.
Yeah, she's like, oh, just a little thing. Just a little thing I get to have.
Right. This one's just for Jane.
Mm-hmm. So then we're on to chapter 38.
Here it is.
She marries Rochester extremely quietly.
Yep.
And this is now like her much into the future, writing back, filling in all the tasty
Now we
tidbits.
get to see what happened to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I love this.
I just like this at the end of like sitcoms where it's like freeze frame.
Uh-huh.
So and so died of cocaine overdose, and you're like, what?
Wow.
I
had no
never
idea.
saw it.
No, it was hidden this whole time.
And then she's like, I told my cousins in a letter, and Diana promised to come see me, so that was pretty cool. She sees me all the time. I love that. Sinjin, however, did actively ignore the information. Continues to address his letters solely to Miss Jane Eyre. And yeah, I don't really know what to do about that, so that's been kind of wild.
Fucking Sinjin. God, I hate that man.
Yeah. And then she recaps how she pulled Adele out of school because she was like in this awful boarding school.
Yup. Things did not. Adele also had a very rough few months.
Yeah, yeah. Like probably about a year. She was in this like awful place. She lost all this weight. Jane, I think, even makes a note that she says it like gave. I can't remember what her place is called, but she's like it gave it a run for its money. So
Oh, Lowood. Yeah.
Lowood, yeah.
Yep.
I was like, oh. But it does make me laugh that Jane did not try and fix that place at all. She just like, all right, let's just pull you out of there and we'll put you somewhere better.
Listen, Jane only has so much money now because she gave away 3/4 of her inheritance. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she's got to focus on what she can do.
Yep. So and now Adele's at a much closer school, which is lovely. And Jane said that she grew up into a fine young lady.
Love to see that for Adele.
Truly, truly. And Jane did not make any comments on her lack of intelligence in this
Nope.
little recap, which is nice.
You thought it was coming, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I
Mm-hmm.
won't lie to you.
Yeah. I was
I
like, all
thought
right,
she.
how is Adele an idiot now?
Literally, I thought she was gonna be like, she's a fine but dumb young lady,
Right. Nice but dim, as always.
as
Adele
always.
thriving,
Mm.
moisturized in her lane.
So then, like, Shane's like, and then he got a little bit of his visions back. So now Rochester can see, like, the corners of me.
Yes, he sees shapes.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I'm glad it's not like he had a full miraculous recovery.
Mm-hmm. No, because let's be real, Rochester did some terrible shit in his life, and
Hmm.
the narrative retribution that he received should not just go away.
Correct. And then we find out that Jane has a son. So that's cute.
Yup, little
Love that.
Rochester running around.
Hmm.
Hopefully, not a
Uh,
shit like his dad.
I wonder if he's ugly. You know,
Probably.
probably. Well, I feel like when two like really ugly parents have a baby, they're always like the hottest child, and you're like, what?
Yeah, the genes rearrange themselves, or at the very least, just a very normal looking person where you're like,
Yeah,
how did that happen?
yeah.
Interesting.
They like grow up and they're like suddenly they're like walking supermodels. They're like, oh, I got a modeling contract, and you're like, what?
Huh?
Huh?
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, good for
go
you.
off. Yeah. And then we find out that Diana and Mary were married,
Yep.
not to each other, but
I
to
mean,
others.
yeah. I mean, it was nice if they were, but they were sisters, so that would be weird.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yes, they got
Apparently,
nice
we
matches. Bless
cousins
them.
allowed.
Yeah.
You know,
Sisters. No.
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 The standard it's low, I guess.
Yep. The bar is low, but we will step over it.
Hmm. And then we find out that Sinjin is dying alone in India, as he should.
It's such a wild thing to end this book on that note.
Hmm.
Like, of all of the things that happen, and all of the
Hmm.
characters who rightly or wrongly get what they deserve,
Hmm.
the fact that he is the thing that we wrap up with, of him
I know.
being of him dying alone in India, it's like, damn, it's
Hmm.
not domestic bliss. It's not Jane and Rochester's happiness. It's
I know.
this character getting what he wanted and dying because of it. It's I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It really is a nice little bow. Because I think if they rounded out and then she'd be like, and we had two sons and a very happy home. The end. I would have been like, ugh.
Yeah, but no, it ends
Hmm.
with Sinjin being
Like
dying.
I
It
just,
ends with Sinjin dying.
I'm imagining Jane Eyre just like sipping tea, being like, oh, and remember that guy that was really annoying? He died alone.
He died alone in India with no one there. Ugh, yes.
Ugh. What's that? You know that GIF? Not GIF, but like the little video clip, and it's like I don't remember what movie it's from, but they're like, "Oh, you will not believe what happened. He's blind. Better.
I
She's
have no idea.
pregnant. Better. No, oh, I'll have to find that for you.
Please send it.
Yeah. To like remember exactly what the words are, but like something like that where they're like, even better. And they'll be like, she got fat. Yes. Oh my god. Like, I'll send it to you later. But it's that's what this reminds me of.
I mean, so I appreciate that there is a moral through line in this book.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, we've talked about the Sinjin representing religion and like this weird masculine Victorian thing. And just that Charlotte Bronte was willing to write a character that was so awful and a villain, but who was this like representative of like the actual values of Victorian Britain is
Mm-hmm.
really nice to then see he gets what he deserves. Like, one, fuck that guy. And two, yeah, you're engaged in this colonial project, fuck missionaries, and it killed you, rightly so. Because
Slay.
you had the option of not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You would not have died alone in India if you had married Rosamond, if you had
Mm-hmm.
just been a normal human being. But Charlotte Bronte is like, hey, all of these things, all of these values, they're bad. And I think
So
that is
good.
like, that's a very brave thing to say in a book, regardless of who's writing it,
Mm-hmm.
especially in a time that is so moralistic and moralizing as
Mm-hmm.
Victorian Britain. Like, and the fact that this is popular, and the fact that the church apologizes for it, or religious people are like, oh, this is terrible. It's like, hmm, no, she's tapping
Well,
into something here. And if you
yo,
see some of yourself in St. John, you need to fix your heart.
stay away from me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that stay away from me or fix your heart. Do one or the other. But like, I love a book that has a moral message to a society that believes itself moral but behaves in very immoral ways.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, it's a feminist piece, and is lauded as such, and it is. Jane makes her own decisions. At the end of it, she recognizes things that she believed she wanted aren't what she wants, and she goes into an unconventional relationship. She rejects the sort of pious moralizing of Sinjin and comes out, happy despite what she's experienced. So the fact that we end there is, I think, the most satisfying conclusion that this book could have had.
Truly.
And I very much appreciate it. Anyway.
What a good note to end this on.
Oh, I wanted to hear what you thought. I want to hear what you think of this book.
I like I don't even know. Like I feel like we've talked about this book for 6 months and it's just like there's just a neat little bow and I'm happy. I'm
Good.
happy. Like I'm happy that it ended with hot goss as it should.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that Jane ended up with the most wild person that honestly could be the only person to like put up with her. You know, like she's just wild enough that like they are they can be together. It works out,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Yeah,
think it's beautiful.
it is. It's a lovely book, and I'm very glad I was able to revisit it because it's been a while, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised at. I always had a bit of an issue with the late post Rochester pre fire section. Like that bit with the rivers got very dull for me. But rereading this, I had a better appreciation of what exactly was going on there. Of seeing the sort of not plot advancement but character advancement, and seeing and
Mm-hmm.
like actually under having, I won't say the maturity because I'm not a mature person, but having the sort of reference, the
Mm-hmm.
age experience to understand what was happening, and seeing, again, I've said Jane Eyre is a relatable character, and this is also very relatable to me. To take that moment, that space of the stuff that been told is right doesn't feel right for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and projecting that into the way that she lives, and it saves her. It saves her from St. John, and it gets her to Rochester, who is not perfect, but is perfect for her. and is
Mm-hmm.
and there is happiness at the end of an admittedly very bleak book at times.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you for reading this with me. It's been a real joy.
Thank you for coming on. I can't. It's like I'm a little sad that we
Yeah,
like actually finished it.
I'm. I mean, we still have movies and we still have another book book to
Yeah.
read, so it will be okay. We're not done. We're not done with
And then
Jane Eyre.
like we take a single month break from each other, and then we have The Shining.
And then we read The Shining. And you know what? Here for it.
uh, get ready for a future of a lot of episodes together.
I'm here for it. I'm ready.
Very slay. And we will see you all in the next episode where we're going to compare two movies. Is there a hot Rochester? Is it a hot Jane Eyre? How
How
does
much
it live
attic?
up?
Yeah.
How much attic? Is there a hot Bertha?
There ought to be a hot Bertha.
They're out of. If Bertha is not like a strong woman, I'll riot.
Mm. You know what? I'm with you. I have not seen the Orson Welles one. I have not seen the George C. Scott one. I've seen more of the recent ones, but the Orson Welles one is one of Anne's favorites. One of Anne's favorite movies, and I will spoil it for you. They don't do anything with St. John.
I don't know if I'm actually mad. Not gonna
No,
lie.
listen, there are choices that are made that focus on their relationship, and you know what?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay for a movie. That's okay for a movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is the drama of the movie, because you don't get in Jane's head, so you can't see this
Yeah.
development. You just see more terrible men in her life.
Like I think it'd be hard to sit through Sinjin twice, to be honest.
Yes,
Like, ugh.
I mean, that being said, Sinjin is canonically probably the hottest character in the book. So listen, if they just got a pretty man to be terrible, I'll sit through it. It's fine.
I mean, we already have that in real life with Liam Hemsworth, but okay.
Ah,
Anyways, I did it.
good job.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, we will catch you all in the next episode with some movies and some good
Movie night.
talks.
Movie night.
Movie night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.